Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Insufficient Friends. I'm Kevin. She's Nikki.
Hi.
And if you're new here, this is a podcast where we just kind of talk about whatever we want to. And if you enjoy that, great. If not, then I don't know what to tell you. It's just what it is. Give us a topic to talk about because we'll do that. But Nick, how was your week?
It was good. Actually, well, it was really, really busy work-wise.
Okay.
Good busy.
Yeah.
But ended the week by going to see Jurassic World Rebirth,
Okay.
and it was good. I liked it.
Okay.
It was like action the whole time,
Uh-huh.
more than like story, like a lot of the other ones are.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, I want more lore because I love lore.
Yeah.
But
Me too.
it was still really good. I love Jonathan Bailey. I love ScarJo. So
My
it was good.
dad told me that he really liked it too. So
Hmm.
I have not seen it yet. I have just not had a chance to go see it yet.
Yeah.
But I love the Jurassic Park World
Hmm.
franchise, whatever. I have heard mixed reviews on it though. So I
Yeah.
mean, I will see it at some point because I will see all of them. Just like, actually, me and my dad talked about this yesterday with movies.
Hmm.
Like, I will go see all the Jurassic Park movies no matter what because it's Jurassic
Yeah.
Park.
Same.
I
Hmm.
would go see all of the Star Wars movies no matter what. If they came out with a
Hmm.
Star Wars movie and they titled it "This is the worst movie ever," I would still go see it because it is still a Star Wars movie.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's just what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But it's yeah. So I will see it eventually. But I've heard some mixed reviews on it, but I will go see it
Yeah.
eventually.
And I can totally see where they would come from. But
Yeah.
I still think it was good. Um, I just like more story, but it was action. Like they obviously do story in the beginning, so you know
Yeah.
what the heck is going on.
Yeah.
But after that it was pretty much all action, but it was good, and there were a lot of really cute moments, and I feel like they definitely, I'm not going to spoil anything, but I feel like they've definitely leaned into you know how like um Disney with like Grogu, or Grogu, not Grogu, no, that's the American Dad. um is it Grogu,
No,
Baby
baby
Yoda?
Grogu is the like baby Yoda per thing. Yeah.
Okay, Grogu is also the name of that little alien baby in American Dad, and I get them confused. Anyways,
Oh,
I
okay.
feel like
I thought Roger was the name of
they,
the baby, is the alien in American Dad,
well,
but
Roger's the alien,
okay.
but Grogu is Roger's baby.
Oh,
I don't
I've
know.
never watched American Dad. I've just seen little clips of it in places.
Yeah,
So,
we just finished rewatching it, but anyways, I feel like they really leaned into having a cute character. So if you see it,
interesting.
you'll know. But
Okay.
so I wonder if they did that because they know like they need something for like kids to be able to watch, or like young adults or whatever. I don't know.
Hmm.
It was still really cute. So
Okay.
yeah, but it was
Interesting.
good. I would still go see it if I were you,
Yeah. I want to. I just have to
or wait for
find.
it to come out.
Yeah. I have to find the time to go see it. I mean,
Hmm.
it's been out for a few weeks, so I hope that
Hmm.
I'll have a chance to go see it. I just haven't had the ability or want to actually go to the theater just yet to go see it. So, but
Yeah.
yeah. Um, anyway,
How was your week?
my week was fine. It didn't. Nothing
Hmm.
really crazy happened. It's just been um, a normal week. This has been
Hmm.
my week was kind of boring, as
Hmm.
many of them are. But because
Hmm.
I'm just kind of a boring person. I don't really do much. I spend a lot of time doing work and this podcast,
You're
and that
not
is it.
boring, but because you work a lot, you definitely have a routine for
Yes, I have
sure.
very much of a routine.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very much have a routine. I may not be a boring person, but I have very much of a routine. So, um, but anyway, Nick, I have
Hmm.
one shout out this week. I told
Okay.
you, I think you have one shout out. I'm going to start with this
Mhm.
one, though. It has to do with our podcast from last week.
Okay.
Dan, who we have not heard from in a little while on here, but Dan, hello again.
Hi, Dan.
He uh, mentioned the au jus because we were talking about that.
Hmm.
So au jus apparently is a culinary meaning. It means with juice.
Okay.
Um, and he goes on. He kind of flips the script all of a sudden in this comment, though, and then he goes on to say, uh, "Now about the baddie from the 21st century. My girlfriend's grandmother in her 90s. Hold on, let me read this. My girlfriend's grandmother is in her 90s and was showing a new jacket she was given. It had juicy bedazzled across the back. I hope I made you laugh since you were both always cracking me up. So,
Yeah, that's amazing. I love that so much for her. That's awesome.
so yes, Dan,
Definitely a baddie.
you did make us laugh, and yes,
Hmm.
juicy bedazzled across the back, and it goes along
Hmm.
with the au jus, I guess too. So
Oh
juicy,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, with juice.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I think we were talking about Margaret of Anjou and
Mm-hmm.
how she was French, and
Yeah,
then
if it's
yeah,
actually all
I
together.
forgot to look up if that was a real thing or
Yeah.
if we just
Well,
totally made that up
we
like
are
we normally
insufficient.
do.
So,
Yeah.
but
Hmm.
did you have any shout outs for this week, Nick?
I do, just a personal one. We actually this was really the week before last, but I forgot to talk about it. Casey and I got dinner with our friends Kaylee and Phil.
Nice.
They just got back from, well, they got married, they got back from their honeymoon.
Okay.
So first
Congratulations,
part of the
Kaylee and
shout out
Phil.
is
Yes.
congratulations. Second part is they are the ones that will be hopefully going to the Elms with us and then
Oh,
probably will be on the podcast.
okay. Fun. Nice.
So Phil said he doesn't like ghost tours and has sworn off of them, but
Okay.
because I said he's a talker,
Mm-hmm.
and because I said, well, you can be on the podcast after, then he was like, okay.
Okay, hold on.
So,
First of all,
mhm.
why has Phil sworn off ghost tours
I don't know. We'll have to ask him when he's
on the
on.
podcast? Okay, we'll have to ask him
Yeah.
on the podcast.
Hmm.
Because I'm intrigued as to why Phil has
Yeah.
sworn off ghost tours. Because he apparently didn't
Yeah.
swear them off very well. If he was willing to just throw that aside to come on the
Well,
podcast.
the podcast got him swayed, and I'm like, Phil, we have 4 listeners.
Yeah, we don't really. It's not gonna get
But
you anywhere, Phil. But if you want to talk, you can talk. I'm bring it
yeah, you
on,
can
man.
talk all you want. It'll be great. No, I'm excited though. So hopefully we can plan that out and then have them on the podcast later this year.
Nice. Okay. I
But the real shout out was congrats on
Yes,
getting married
congrats
and
on the
everything.
nuptials.
Yeah.
I do have one other shout out that I
Hmm.
remembered. Is tomorrow? This is coming out on Sunday. Tomorrow is my dad's birthday, so
Oh, happy
happy
birthday.
birthday to who is now becoming an old man. Um, it is he is getting more and more concerned about that all the time, and I think it's hilarious. So,
Yeah.
but anyway,
You're only as old as you feel, or
yeah,
whatever old people say.
yeah. Um, well, it seems like all the every once in a while it seems like he's feeling older and older. So from the stories that I get, it seems like he's feeling older and older. So
That's
um,
funny.
so anyway, Nick, this week we're talking about the Cold War,
Hmm.
specifically a couple of uh,
CIA
CIA
projects.
projects in the Cold War, which is always fun. We could go like we could do dozens of episodes on different CIA projects
Yeah.
during the Cold War and not during the Cold War, which we'll probably do some more
Hmm.
CIA projects now that I think about that
Yeah.
because there's some fun ones. But I did a little bit of backstory on the Cold War, and then we'll get into your CIA project that you
Hmm.
that is so aptly named because they
Yeah.
I don't know who comes up with the names for these things, but they're always ridiculous and kind of fun.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Hmm.
if you're unfamiliar with the Cold War, it was basically a rivalry between the U.S. and the USSR or the Soviet Union following almost immediately after World War II ended until the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991. Um, the reason it was called a Cold War is because it never went hot, which just basically means we never actually fought battles or fired weapons at each other, even
Hmm.
though we did kind of fight in what are called proxy wars. So like fighting each
Yeah.
other through other wars. The most notable of those would be Korea and Vietnam for the United States. So
Mm.
um, you also had incidents like the Cuban Missile Crisis. Most people know about that, which happened in 1962, I believe. Um, and then, the Berlin Wall, that was a big part of, the division of Germany, East and West Germany, and the Berlin Wall being up, and
Hmm.
everything on that. So um, it was a big fight against Western powers being fighting against the spread of communism, which was a fear uh, among a lot of people who wanted more democracy and feared communist regimes taking over. Um, while in the East, Russia had friends. China became more of a communist country in I think the People's Republic of China was founded in 49. So what is that? 4 years after the war ended, or something like that. So it just kind of 4 or 5 years after the war ended. 4 years.
Yeah.
It ended in 45. So, and other parts of that. So you had Russia, who kind of kept growing its influence around. Um, they didn't really colonize, but they kind of took um, under their wing like Poland, part of Germany, and a bunch of other countries in Eastern Europe,
Hmm.
Ukraine, and other countries over there, to kind of push them towards communism, while the U.S. Uh, kind of pushed for more democracy and things like that, and also took part in a bunch of regime changes to try to get, and also helped, you know, push dictators and other things to like also did like not a whole lot of good things. So some bad things happened during this time that
Yeah.
aren't great. So
Hmm.
um, and it was all just to basically keep communism from happening, and
Yeah.
we still kind of do that today. The nuclear fight for nuclear weapons. The U.S.
Mm.
had nuclear weapons. Obviously, we used them in World War II, but Russia gained nuclear weapons shortly after that. So you had the
Hmm.
nuclear arms race, which was always a fear during the Cold War. Um,
Yeah.
the space race was a big thing during Cold War as well. So there's just a whole lot
Hmm.
that happened during this, and I can't really, it'd take hours or days or
Yeah.
30 episodes to go through
Oh,
everything that
we'll
happened in
probably,
it,
we
but
haven't done a war episode in quite a while in our, little war series, and I'm sure we'll get to the Cold War soon. I don't remember what. I think World War One is our next war. So we'll get there eventually, and I'm sure we'll do a full episode on it. But
yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of the backdrop of the Cold War, what was going on in this time. A lot of
Yeah.
tensions, a lot of fear, um,
Hmm.
just constant fear of if, a nuclear bomb could drop at any time and everybody would
Yeah.
die, and just concerns,
Hmm.
spying, concerns that everybody was a spy, so
Hmm.
much stuff going on, which is why you get to the CIA. And Nick.
Yes. Yeah. So December 31st, 1948, which I don't know why they were like New Year's Eve, let's form this branch of the CIA. But the CIA formed the Office of Scientific Intelligence. So this was, like you said, right after the end of World War II.
A
Um,
couple of years, yeah.
yeah. And then, so basically, they had merged like the scientific branch and the nuclear branch. And then a couple of years later, 1962, they formed the oh yeah, okay. So the Directorate of Science and Technology. So this is the branch that is still this today, I believe. It's the branch of the CIA that is tasked with collecting and analyzing information through technology, and then also developing new technical systems to advance like intelligence gathering for the CIA.
Okay.
So they are the ones that headed up a lot of the projects that we'll talk about today.
So
Specific,
this is like Q. This is like where Q would be. You have no idea what I'm talking about, do you?
no.
Okay.
What's Q?
Carry on. Q is the like tech wizard in MI6 that James Bond. Yeah, this is like what Q would be in. You've never watched a
Uh,
James Bond movie, so it's okay.
no.
Yeah, that's awesome.
No,
Sorry.
I literally have nothing, no thoughts on that. But if it has to do with technology, then most likely because they are the ones that are like uh, collecting and analyzing information and then also developing the new systems to be better at collecting and analyzing information. So that's the branch of the CIA we're talking about.
Okay.
Um, so the reason I wanted to do this episode is because I had briefly read about the other day Project Acoustic Kitty. So that sent me down a rabbit hole because I was like, what the hell is that?
Oh, good lord.
And that sent me down a CIA rabbit hole. So, Project Acoustic Kitty was a CIA project launched by this Directorate of Science and Technology in the 1960s.
Mm-hmm.
And they intended to use cats to spy on the Kremlin and Soviet embassies.
Okay.
So it started in the United States to spy on the embassies, and their first field test was at the Soviet embassy in Washington, D.C. But what this project was a vet, a surgeon, would implant a microphone in the cat's ear canal, um, a, a radio transmitter at the base of its skull, and then a thin wire in its fur. The idea was, which, okay, I'm going to preface all of this by saying I do not agree with the ethics of like literally anything we're talking about today, but so I'll give that caveat. But basically,
Most
their goal was
most of the
what?
CIA's ethics have been called into question for a lot of the crap they did back in the day. So
Yeah, like their
yeah.
torture techniques and a lot of things. So, yeah, I'll give the caveat that I don't agree with this, but this was like a fascinating, project and then rabbit hole of all these other projects. But so that's how they would do it. The goal was the cats would, go about their days. They would train them to go to specific areas, but they would just innocuously record and transmit those recordings back to the CIA. So, but the um, cats got distracted constantly. Um, the CIA had like a specific subset of this operation where they had to figure out how to not let the cats like get hungry because then they would be distracted and go hunting or whatever. So there was like so many issues with this. It ended up costing like $20 million to try to make this work, and which doesn't seem like a lot nowadays, but in the 60s, I'm sure that was quite a bit for a cat project. Um, but it was field tested. So the first mission, I say that loosely because none of them were ever successful. And these have been declassified, so like we
Yeah.
know that they weren't ever successful. So the first Acoustic Kitty mission was to eavesdrop on two men in a park outside of the Soviet embassy in Washington, D.C. So the cat was released nearby, but there's two rumors of how this went, and the files don't say apparently how this first mission went. So it just describes the first mission. But one of the rumors is that the cat was almost immediately hit by a taxi,
Oh.
and so it didn't work.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
Yeah, but then in 2013, some director of the Office of Technical Service came out and said, no, that wasn't true. The project we that never happened. The project was just abandoned because we realized it was too difficult to train the cats. So he said that how it ended was the equipment was then surgically taken out of the cat. The cat was, sewn up for a second time and lived a long and happy life afterwards.
Hmm. It still
That
doesn't.
seems like BS to
That
me.
still doesn't explain how the mission went. Still, yeah,
Exactly. Exactly. So I don't really know, but yeah, so it just says subsequent tests also failed. And shortly thereafter, the project was considered a failure and a total loss. But then there's also rumors that it went on for a little bit after, like they kept trying it even after it was a loss. So, but it was officially canceled in 1967, and the closing memorandum said that the CIA researchers figured out that you can train cats to move short distances, but the environmental factors, security factors, the human elements in it's not going to work. It's not practical. So, but this was all disclosed in 2001 when some documents were declassified. So
yeah,
that's Project Acoustic Kitty.
yeah.
It was not a success in
No,
any way whatsoever.
a lot of those ones weren't successes. A lot of those
Yeah,
things that they did back in the day weren't successes. Which, yeah, I
yeah,
guess. I mean, here's the thing. Again, not gonna condone the crap that happened,
yeah,
but you gotta give them props for trying something. Like it
yeah.
is it is it is a valiant effort. Like the
Hmm.
whoever came up with the idea of, hey, we have a thought process. Let's implant a microphone into a cat who nobody's
Hmm.
gonna suspect of being a problem, and a radio transmitter. Like
Yeah.
nobody's gonna think of that as
And
being a thing. Like
I get that it has worked in other animals, like little birds aren't real movement.
yeah,
Well, there is some like actual. I'm not saying the movement is true, but I'm saying there is actual documented like CIA
drones.
initiatives where it has worked. Like
Yeah.
pigeons and ravens. Like things have actually worked for them to be attached with cameras or listening devices. And homing pigeons and ravens are the two that I saw that worked when I
Hmm.
did this deep dive of looking into other projects also. So, I mean, there are actual things that work. And so I know that, you know, without innovation, countries die. But it's like, did we have to do it this way? I don't know.
Yeah.
But there are other projects that have worked and then some others that definitely did not work. So there was also well, technically this is the Navy, not the CIA, but it was during the Cold War.
Hmm.
So they would use
Yep.
dolphins.
I was gonna mention
Um,
that one if you didn't get there, but
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, dolphins and sea lions as well. So they would detect underwater mines, locate enemy divers, and then there was even a recorded success of them attaching a surveillance device to a submarine. So, I, because dolphins are highly trainable, I feel like
And
I
they're
remember
and they're
seeing like,
relatively intelligent, like pretty
yes,
freaking
like pretty
intelligent.
intelligent,
So
like almost human level
yeah.
empathy and intelligence. So, that program is still active today in the Navy. It's called the
Hmm.
U.S. Navy Marine Mammal Program. So, um, they say it is still active today as far as detecting underwater mines and things like that. Now, a lot of people have claimed that the military weaponized dolphins in the past. The military denies that. They say no, they are only used for surveillance.
Yeah. There was a a picture that came out several years ago, if I remember correctly, that popped up online and became a thing. And I don't think it was AI, because this was kind of
Mm-hmm.
before that became a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I dreamed this. That's a possibility. Anything's possible. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but it was a dolphin that, because there was rumors that Russia did the same thing, that tried to like weaponize
Yeah.
dolphins and stuff like that. But it was a dolphin that had like a device strapped to it that
Oh,
was like that
interesting.
like swimmed up to a boat somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that
Hmm.
that brought back some of these like thoughts of war dolphins being used as like weapons. Um,
Yeah.
and it
Which is obviously super like unethical. Like
yeah.
uh um not maintenance. Surveillance is one thing.
Hmm.
And kind of like how we use dogs to detect bombs and
Mm-hmm.
things. That's one thing. But like the Soviet Union also tried to strap bombs to dogs
Mm-hmm.
and then would send them under tanks.
Yep.
And obviously that was horrible.
Yeah.
So, weaponizing animals is,
Yeah,
yeah.
that didn't work either because a lot of times the dogs would come back to their owner and
Yeah.
they would kill the soldiers. So, which
Hmm.
okay,
Yeah. But you know me, animals are more important than humans. So that's hard for me to
yeah,
stomach. But so yeah, so I mean there are other things that have other projects that have worked. In 2019 it was declassified that so Project Takana, this was an actual CIA bird surveillance, so homing pigeons
okay,
specifically.
that's not as fun of a
Strapped with,
name.
yeah, I know, I don't know what that means, but they had many cameras and would photograph Soviet military installations, and it actually worked. So they were trained to fly over specific targets,
Hmm.
and then homing pigeons. I mean, you can set homing pigeons hundreds of miles away, and they will always find their way home.
Yeah,
So it actually worked pretty well, and would capture like literal bird's eye view images of military installations. Obviously, now we have drones and
yeah,
things, but it was declassified in 2019, and some were successful, some were not, but overall, I mean, it did work in some
yeah.
areas. So
I've
that
never
was interesting.
understood. I've never understood how that works. Like how pigeons do that. How do they know exactly where they're supposed to go?
I
I've
don't know.
I've never understood that.
Hmm.
Like ability of how they know exactly how to get back to where they're supposed to be.
I have no idea. It's like I always wondered, like, how do birds migrate every year? And then,
Go
like, how do
back.
they just innately know that, you know?
Well, I mean, I'm sure I would guess that migration is like a because they all do it together. I would guess that's a generational thing. Like they learn from whoever
Yeah.
you like parent like that. I can understand. You would learn that from like older birds that you do it with. But when you're
Mm.
like by yourself, I don't understand
Yeah.
how you like one single bird can know like okay I need to go to this locate like
Hmm.
back to this exact spot but I guess we do it too but
Well, I sure don't. I
well,
can't find my way out of anywhere.
okay anyway.
Oh, okay. I googled how do homing pigeons work. Homing pigeons. So they use a combination of sensory. Oh, they use the magnetic field and the sun's position to navigate their back home.
Okay.
So that would kind of make sense. I know dogs also use the Earth's magnetic field, and so I guess there are a lot of animals that are way more tuned into the Earth than we are. So that
Yeah,
would make sense why they can find their way home and I can't. So
well, I mean
yeah.
I just I just know how to tell directions and read a map but
Oh God, no, no. I still use Google Maps every time I get in the car, unless I'm going like to Starbucks down the street. Like then I can get home and back. But um, yeah, no. But that's interesting. Okay, so they basically use the sun and the magnetic field, which makes sense because dogs and cats do the same thing. There's even like scientists have tried to explain why, how like before dogs go to the bathroom, they like circle
mhm.
and have to find like the exact right spot. That reportedly is because like of the magnetic field.
Huh, okay.
So that would make sense now that they're just way more tuned in than us stupid humans. Evidence number 5,000,003 why dogs are better than people. Um, but there were
Oh,
some, so back to like the CIA stuff,
yeah.
there were some other projects that were tested but didn't really work. So they were
Okay.
never like executed, but they were
Yeah.
tested. So Raven surveillance. So some worked, some didn't, but it was never actually like executed because it was too unpredictable. It wasn't
Okay.
as good as the homing pigeons.
Makes sense.
So they had used ravens to deliver and retrieve like small surveillance equipment. Um, They also tested rat bombs.
Okay.
Now, this was a rumor that was unconfirmed, but um, so it says similar to the pigeon and cat programs, but using rats.
Okay.
And then it talks about the dog-based programs as well. So on the Soviet side, what we talked about before, that was tragically flawed. And then how the U.S. in general, and still to this day, uses dogs for tracking and
Mm-hmm.
detection and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, overall, um, expensive, largely unethical, and largely impractical
Mm-hmm.
as
Yep.
well.
Yeah.
So
Pretty much. Yep.
yeah.
So, your idea for this, for us, was
Mm-hmm.
to come up with our own,
Mm-hmm.
um, a squad
Mm-hmm.
and a name for an operation, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Nick, what animals did you pick and
Okay.
what did you come up with?
Okay. So my animals, first was dogs, of course.
Okay. Why did you pick dogs?
Specifically, yeah, so specifically Jack Russell Terriers and Beagles as part of these groups
Okay.
because the Jack Russells are bred, like they were bred to hunt like moles on the ground and things that are in the ground, like
Okay.
dig and
Okay.
hunt. And then the Beagles, obviously are a lot of like bomb dogs,
Mm-hmm.
like airport dogs and things. So that was my first dog.
Okay.
Um, my second was dolphins.
Okay.
So my idea through this was we need a land, ocean, air, and then I included a bug as well.
Okay.
So dolphins would be the ocean because they've had success
Okay.
and still do in terms of, and I wasn't thinking of weapons, I was thinking of surveillance
Okay.
when I made these. So surveillance using dolphins because it has been successful. The third was the homing pigeons because they had more success than the ravens. 'Cause the ravens are prettier, but and the pigeons are ugly, but they work better, I guess. So, um, and then the fourth, I haven't seen any projects do this. There were projects that I read about that were like they had tried to do like dragonflies and things. But I didn't see anything about them using cockroaches, but I thought a cockroach would be good to put because nowadays, technology wise, we have minuscule like cameras or like the tiniest of tiny cameras. And a cockroach is known for getting in places, surviving things, a cockroach can survive the apocalypse type of idea.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my team. A dog, a dolphin,
Okay.
a pigeon, and a cockroach.
Okay. What is the
My
title of this operation or the name of your team?
Okay, so I did both.
Okay.
So the operation name is Operation Shadow Hound.
Okay.
I had to do the dog
Yeah.
theme.
Uh-huh.
Because ideally, I would have a team of all dogs. I would do a Jack Russell, a Beagle, a Belgian Malinois, and a German Shepherd.
Okay.
But realistically, like I was thinking, well, I need more than just dogs.
Okay.
But um, I stuck to the dog theme for the name too. And
Okay.
I was very proud of my Spy Squad name,
Okay.
Paw and Order.
Okay. You're even wearing the hoodie that
So,
matches today. Yes.
I know,
Yeah.
I know. So,
Okay. So,
yeah.
um, so, um, I did not go that in depth.
Hmm.
And there's a reason. Is my my thought process on this was most of these things were very niche. Like most of
Hmm.
these operations were like one thing and one thing only. Where
Yeah.
you seem to like you kind of like encompassed everything in one. I just kind of went for like one thing.
Okay.
Now,
Hmm.
I will say that we both had the same idea because I went with cockroaches.
Did you?
Yes.
Mhm.
And the operation name that I came up with was Operation Roach Reconnaissance.
Oh, I like that.
So, and yeah, it's just like
Mm-hmm.
little cameras, little microphones on roaches because
Mm-hmm.
you can one
Yeah.
there's they go everywhere. They survive
Mm-hmm.
everything and
Yeah.
you can have like thousands of them. Now,
Yes.
the only problem with this that I foresee is that if anybody sees them, they're usually like the first thing to be exterminated.
Yes.
So it's
Yeah.
probably going to fail just like everything else. So,
Yeah.
you know,
But when you think about the cost and the ethics, and the practicality, I mean, sure, they might get exterminated, but it's pretty low cost to, breed more cockroaches or whatever,
this is true.
theoretically, I would assume.
This is true. Um,
Also, there's not as many ethical issues because they're bugs, and literally no one in the world likes bugs. So, sorry to any bug scientists that listen. I don't like your cockroaches. Um, but it's not like sending dogs into a
yeah.
war zone, which is
Yeah.
highly unethical,
Yeah.
so
I understand
yeah.
what you're saying. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay.
I
Yeah.
like both of those.
Yeah.
So you did just the cockroaches, I would
Yes.
do just the dogs.
Okay.
And I like the Operation Shadow Hound and the Operation Roach Reconnaissance, is
Yeah.
that what you said?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yep.
I like those. That's good.
Yeah. So, uh anyway, I
We
think
should have okay, if anyone's still listening at this point, honestly, comment on YouTube or Instagram whether you like Operation Shadowhound and Paw and Order or Roach Reconnaissance. Which one do you like better, or which one is more practical? And let us know, because Kevin and I are competitive.
Oh, okay, Nick. I think it's time for facts.
Mhm.
What is your fact for this week?
Okay. So during the Cold War, the CIA employed a magician. So this says among the many tricks the CIA had at its disposal during the Cold War was a top secret manual of deception written by magician John Mulholland. The CIA paid Mulholland $3,000 to write a top secret guide on trickery and deception, a quote unquote James Bond meets Harry Houdini textbook. And it says all copies were thought to have been destroyed in 1975, but two intelligence agents managed to get their hands on the document and published it decades later.
Oh, that'd be an interesting read, actually.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
Mhm.
Um. That is $3,000 compared to $20 million for Project Acoustic Kitty is kind of a dude. You got ripped off.
Yeah. 100%.
You should have asked for at least $1 million. Like, come on,
Hmm.
what's going on? But
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, I actually didn't have to look up my fact for this
Oh,
week.
okay.
I knew it off the top of my shiny dome here. So the during um the Cold War,
Hmm.
there's a famous speech that was given by Winston Churchill called the Iron Curtain speech, and
Yeah.
he accused Russia or the Soviet Union of building an Iron Curtain and basically blocking off the West
Hmm.
from the East and uh, trying to create, trying to block off the two from each other.
Yeah.
Now, the interesting fact or the fun fact about that is that he gave that speech 30 minutes from where I live in
Oh, interesting.
Fulton, Missouri. Don't know why the hell he was in Fulton, Missouri to give that speech, but he gave it at Westminster College in Fulton, Missouri. In this middle of Missouri,
Interesting.
a town that has a population currently of like 12,000 people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, don't know why.
Hmm.
There is a Winston Churchill, the National Winston Churchill Museum is in town there.
Oh,
That
I
is
was wondering why that was
That's
there
why it's there.
because I've seen
That's
that.
also why there's a giant piece of the Berlin Wall at the college. So
Oh, yeah.
that's why it's there
Interesting.
because that's where he gave that speech. So that's where one of the most famous speeches of the Cold War was ever given was the Iron Curtain
Huh.
speech was given at that school, which is why uh, all that stuff is there. So if
Mm-hmm.
you ever wondered, Nick, now you know. So, and
Yeah.
if you ever want to see the Churchill Museum, it is in Fulton. It's a pretty cool little museum. It's nothing huge, nothing major, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So,
Interesting.
yeah. But I
Very
think
cool.
that is it for
Mm-hmm.
this week, Nick. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, this has been fun. Don't forget to like,
Mm-hmm.
subscribe, comment. If you want to hear us talk about something else, put it down in the comments below. Otherwise, we're just going to keep doing whatever we want to do. So, yeah. We'll talk to you guys next week.
Bye.